Welcome back. Welcome back. Happy holidays, everyone. Welcome back to another mukbang. I am so excited to have some delicious Iranian food today. I picked this up at PANINI KABOB Grill. There are two locations here in Orange County, one in Irvine and now in Santa Ana, but I love this place. The portions are huge. I got a family size meal and I'm excited. I'm ready to dig in. So on the menu today, I do have my favorite koobideh kebab koobideh, which is like ground beef or lamb, but I think this one is beef here. My absolute favorite. I'm pairing it with raw onions. I love the raw onion. It tastes so amazing, like as if you're having a really delicious hamburger. I love it. This is the traditional chicken kebab. See the kebab everywhere. And I've got a bed of rice, I've got salad, pita bread with tzatziki, and then I've got sumac, which is, I believe it's a bush that grows red berries. Anyways, it's like dried up, it's ground, and you're actually supposed to put it on the rice, the basmati rice. And it's kind of sour, so it adds a little bit of a flair to it. So I'm excited. But before that, I have to have my whiskey today. So I have this wonderful little ice maker that makes this cubed ice. I melted a little bit while I was preparing. So let's get some of this whiskey in there. So I like to pour about this much whiskey, which is a lot, which is pretty much half the cup. And then I just pour in LaCroix, LaCroix, whatever you want to say, the tangerine flavor. I think it actually pairs really well with it. Because old fashions, old fashions usually have that, I guess, orange zest or flavor in the drink. So I think that's why this pairs really well. Cheers. Perfect, simple, alcoholic. I'm all in. Let's put this guy in here. See, it's important to have Persian friends to show you how to eat this food. I know I've got a lot of Persian viewers that have been waiting for kind of I guess a Mediterranean style dish, and it's about time. I'm sorry it took so long, but I love Panini Grill, and I'm just so excited. Rice. Oh my gosh, it makes it so sour. It's so good. I love grilled veggies and fruits. Tomatoes, onions. Bomb. Really moist. And I have basil leaves here, which is perfect. Which is perfect with the dish. So I'm cutting up the raw onions right now. For my koobideh. See, at first I was like, no, I'm not eating raw onions with this. Like, who eats raw onions? But then again, I love eating raw garlic, so I don't, at that time I was thinking, well, I already do that anyway. I mean, I might as well try. What's the difference? I mean, it seems the same to me. Let's do this. Mm. Oh my God. Bomb. Some of this yogurt dip in my pita. I've told you before, right? Persian, Indian, Vietnamese, Thai food, all my favorites. My top favorite foods. Up a fork. I have a little bit of dressing, but I really don't want to overdo it. Mm. Mm. I love just chewing on leaves off of the stem. Hmm. I'm hungry. Mm. That is so good. And this is so refreshing. Yeah. It's everything to me. And as you can tell, I'm definitely feeling festive, and I love the holidays. I love Christmas. Seriously, one of my favorite. Well, Halloween's my favorite, but Christmas is really up there for me. It just makes you feel so warm. And the lights are so inviting. I love it. Wow. So I've never told you guys this, but, well, maybe I wasn't like, maybe I didn't outright tell you, but I'm not religious by any means. I do not affiliate myself with just any religion. I grew up Catholic, but yeah, today I don't, I don't practice any of that. So I guess you can call me atheist, right? But I just recently I was on my Facebook feed and someone wrote a comment. I don't know if she's trying to be funny, but she wrote basically what she's trying to say is that isn't it hypocritical for atheists or non-believers to celebrate Christmas? Which, I mean, I definitely have an opinion on that. I mean, I guess there is a way for me to explain it, which I'll do later. But I want to at least help you understand my background and where I'm coming from. Because I was told, or at least given the advice, to not talk about religion on this channel, which I think is kind of dumb because you should be talking about that stuff. It's extremely relevant. I mean, it's around me. It's around us at all times. Religion is an actual thing, and to not acknowledge it I think that's kind of ridiculous. Even if you don't follow it. So with that said, I think that it's very important to talk about. I just never felt like talking about it until now, until I just recently saw that. And, I felt like I was the hypocrite that she was talking about, the non-believer that's celebrating Christmas. Anyway, like I said, my past, I grew up in a very religious household. Most of my friends grew up in a religious household. So religion was a thing for me back then. I know it, I've lived it, I've experienced all of it. I even remember prayers, like straight prayers. Like from having to memorize them in Sunday school. I spent a lot of time in the Catholic Church, like you wouldn't even know. Yeah, so I would basically go to church like twice a week with my parents, and then I would also have like weekend school at this Catholic church. So I guess I could say that I was heavily involved as a child. Anyway, I wanted to tell you like the moment when I realized that I just didn't believe in God was, I remember just sitting with my classmates, right? And we were just sitting, we were reviewing our prayers and we were memorizing them, all that good stuff. I guess we were starting on a new prayer to memorize. And the teacher at that time was asking us just to kind of read it over or in our heads or out loud or whatever. And I remember having that kind of pamphlet of prayers right in front of me. And I remember just reading it to myself, but also not understanding what I was reading about or whom I was reading it to, or I just didn't feel like there was any purpose. And even at that age, even at that young age, I still question it. I go, wait a minute, what is everyone like talking about? What is this all about, And I remember kind of just like, I guess like putting down that pamphlet and looking around in the classroom and looking at, my friends at that time, and just, I saw them shove their, they were shoving their face in that pamphlet trying to memorize this prayer. And I I couldn't understand it. And at that moment, I felt really terrible. I felt terrible because I didn't believe in something that everyone else was. So therefore, I was different. And I think at a young age like that, it's kind of hard to handle because you don't want to be different. You want to be just like your friends. You want to be like everyone else and to be accepted. And I think that moment I was like, shoot. First of all, I just realized I was gay not too long ago. And second of all, now I don't believe in God. Like I just felt like I was crazy for even thinking that, for even I don't know. I continued on, right? Even though I had that kind of epiphany, I continued on going to church, doing that thing, showing up every weekend, you know. And I kind of just put it in the back burner. Like I didn't think too much about it. But every time in church, you know, I don't know if you guys are Catholic, if you guys grew up in a Catholic church, you know that the masses are extremely long. They could be a little boring, I'll be honest. But I remember sitting there and looking up because there's like a wooden cross with Jesus, you know, bleeding with the with his crown made of thorns. And I just remember thinking, oh my gosh, like why would they put that up there? It scared me as a child. I could not look at it because there was blood on the statue. It was a bit much. But I think that was supposed to be a reminder about what he had done for us, you know. He died for our sins, etc., etc. With that said, of course, I kept, I guess, convincing myself that I believed in something like this, but I really didn't. And maybe I'm a different breed. There's just something in my head that's not allowing me to believe something like that, to believe in a God. And I felt bad about it, you know. And sometimes today I feel sad about it because I see what the church can do for people. It creates a sense of community. I think that it's a great way for people to cope with, you know, difficult situations. At least there's something to look forward to after life. I understand all of that, and I get that. But for me today, I just don't see it. You know, I questioned a lot as a child and as a teenager, and still today, I can't find myself to follow suit in that way, you know? By the way, these are mine. They took the wooden skewers out and I thought it was so ugly. And so I used my metal skewers. But do you see what I'm saying now? Like, I envy those that do believe in God because, I mean, I see the good. I see the bad too. I'm not stupid. I'm not blind, but everyone's got different principles. We lead our lives all differently, even if we call ourselves one thing or another. We're all different. You know, we just are. And I just think that with all that said, I struggled a lot during my teenage years because I did bad things. You know, I committed sin, a lot of sin, according to my religious background. I created a whole bunch of it, but I went to confession. I did all that jazz. But still today, I'm looking back and I go, why did I'll do all that? Like, I'm so confused. Who am I talking to? Because I don't know. I personally don't know. And I can't speak for anyone else, but this is my own personal experience. And I remember also, like, I guess around like, I think around like 15, you know, when you go to school and you're meeting new people from different backgrounds. And finally, you know, once I left elementary school, I went to intermediate, high school. Then you meet people. You meet other people from different backgrounds who are maybe Islamic or Jewish or Christian, Buddhism. Like Buddhists, like I knew a lot of Buddhists. But yeah, and I started to think to myself, well, okay, so I grew up believing this one God, but yet you have another one. And I thought that was so confusing because I wasn't sure whose God was better. You know, it was confusing to me. So that's when I really started to go, you know what? All of this is not for me. I'm not choosing any God. How about that? Like, I just don't get it at all. And that doesn't make me better than anyone who does believe in that stuff because that's just, it's fine. We're different. We're cool. We can still get along. It's not a big deal. But that's where I'm coming from. But anyway, it stopped pretty soon. I stopped going to church. I stopped everything. I told my mom, I was like, hey, I can't do this anymore. I don't know why I'm spending so much time in church for something that I do not even understand or believe in. And that was my thing. And she freaked out, obviously. And she literally thinks I'm going to hell. But in the best way possible. I don't know what that means. But she basically is trying to get me to go back. She's telling me, please, 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 I don't want you to do bad things or go to bad places. But I keep on reminding her, like, listen, I have to think for myself. And at this moment, this is for me, you know? I understand. She's freaking out. I get it. That onion. There's a lot of food on this plate. Raw onion. Wonderful combo. So good. So satisfied. Honestly, like something like this should not be, it should not offend you. And I don't think I don't know. It just should not be offensive. It isn't. I always believe it's not what you talk about, it's how you talk about it, like what you say. That is important. So as long as you can convey your message in a non-offensive way, you'll get your point across. And I think I'm trying my best to tell you that I'm an atheist, which is hard for some people for some reason, but I am. Respect me and I'll respect you. It's super simple. Like we could still party and get along and have whiskey with each other. Well, maybe not Mormons, but come on. Anyone else, you can hang out with me and have a drink. Anyway, with that said, so back to the Christmas comment that she left on my Facebook feed. I enjoy holiday music. I love Christmas music. Sure, sometimes, the lyrics may include Jesus or, you know, anything of that nature related to religion. And I'm not bothered by it. If anything, that's just part of what it is. It's the birth of Jesus. I get it. But what I'm trying to say is Christmas is more than just a religious thing. It could be secular, it could be cultural, it could be all of that. And it's a tradition that's been existing for so long. Like, how could you? It's not one way. That's what I'm trying to say. Christmas can be celebrated by anybody and anything in any way you'd like. You know? It's like a holiday that you have traditions with other people. I mean, you celebrate, traditions with your family and your friends. I mean, you guys can have a debate amongst yourselves, but for me, that's just how I see it. Like, for example, I could celebrate, Passover with my Jewish friends, I can appreciate that. I can be part of it, even if I'm like a Christian or something. I could still do that. Like, that's what we do for each other. We experience other things aside from what we already know, and we can celebrate that, just like I can celebrate Christmas. That's how I see it. I know this is strange and it might not be a big deal to some people, but it is obviously a so big deal because if I saw it on my feed, someone's thinking about it. So this is not about you. This is just about someone else, but I wanted to clarify and to at least let you know where I'm coming from. Funny story about, growing up Catholic. So, if you're Catholic, you would know this, but we do this thing where it's called confession. And essentially, we confess to the priest of our sins and we ask God for forgiveness. And it was funny because I was thinking to myself, like, well, should I tell him everything? Like, because I was a pretty nasty kid. But apparently I did because I wanted to be forgiven. Like, even though I was having doubts about religion altogether, I was still afraid. Like, I was like, well, maybe. Just because I don't believe it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Like, well, maybe. Let me just confess my sins. And this one time, I've done it a lot of times, but this one time, I walk up to the priest, there's several of them up at the front. Sorry, I'm about to burp. And everyone takes their turns, we stand in a line, and each person confesses their sins. And this one particular time, I tell the priest that, dear Father, I looked at pornography, okay, which is mild, it's not terrible. And then the second one, I go, Father, please forgive me. I have had phone sex. I literally told him I had phone sex. At that moment, like I just thought like I want to be forgiven for this sin, but I didn't think like, oh my god, just he probably thinks I'm like a psycho for like admitting that I had phone sex. Because that's all you could do at that time. Listen, I'm in my 30s. Anyone who grew up in the 80s, 70s, 80s, early 90s knows that that's the only way, early 90s, actually all of the 90s. It's the only way you could have fun, you know? Because today we have FaceTime. But we did not have FaceTime back then. That's the only thing you could do. It was so embarrassing because I felt like literally someone knows. Aside from the person that I did it with, you know? The guy that I found on AOL who was like 30. I told you guys about this. That was bad. No wonder my mom comes to my room, she's like, why is the bill so high? Who's this from Texas? And I go, I don't know. I was a whore. Well, a virtual whore, if that's the case. Oh, come on, you've had phone sex before. If you're my age, come on, at least once. I've never even done FaceTime. Because when FaceTime was introduced, I was still with my boyfriend. We've been together for like 9 years. So, and we have no need to do that. We're always practically together, so. It's so weird because with phone sex, it's very, how do you say? I mean, how do you go on doing it? Literally, though, I know that people make fun of this, but they did really ask, what are you wearing? You know, they want to kind of picture you, I guess, in your natural habitat setting. I don't know. They basically want to know that you're in your underwear, right? So that it turns them on. So even if you aren't, you just say, yeah, I'm in my underwear. I have no t-shirt on. Or for girls, you just say, I've just got a bra and a panty, you know? And then it gets things going, so it's so weird. Oh my god. You start touching yourself, and then like you moan and groan, and it gets kind of silly, but whatever. You get off, so it's what you wanted, so you get what you asked for. This is still so good. Just, I mean, I guess I wanna end that whole conversation by saying like, all right, like that's just where I stand. That's just who I am. And I hope you still like me. I don't have any problems with it. It's just for me personally, I can't, it's not something I practice today. But then again, who knows what's going to happen? I'm not the same person I was 10 years ago. So maybe in my 40s, I might experience something. I don't know. But today, that's my thing. I'm the atheist that listens to holiday music and loves it. Really loves it. And if you want to see it in a way where I'm celebrating Christmas with you, then that's fine, you know? I don't care. let's just enjoy the holidays. It's about tradition, it's about family, it's about love. Let's not question it. Let's just enjoy it. It's beautiful, you know? Why make it so complicated? And I'm not trying to make it complicated. I'm just trying to give somebody an answer to her question. It's a lot of food. Let's end this video by asking, what is your favorite holiday album? Or movie? And movie? My favorite holiday album has to be Michael Bublé, or his holiday songs. I think they're the best, actually. And as far as movie goes, I loved Home Alone, and I still do. But most recently, I really like Christmas with the Cranks. And that's not a movie that I would ever click on because Tim Allen is not someone I like at all. So when I clicked on it, I was just like, whatever, I have to watch something. I actually really liked it a lot, unfortunately. Oh, and I'm liking this whiskey a lot. All right. Happy holidays once again. Thank you for joining me in this beautiful Iranian dinner. Persian love. Oh my God, it was so good. It was so good. It was a lot, but it was so good. Anyway, I'm so glad we had that chat. Now we know more about each other. Like, don't act like you don't know me anymore. But I still love you. I always will. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later. Bye.